Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Vampyr. Literally just starting directly after the last episode.
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that category.
Let's check this out. Due to influenza, this hospital can no longer take any patients. Hospital full. Please go back home. Crazy. Hold on. 20 bucks. He's gonna sit here and say anything he can. Let's see. Where do we go? Let's explore. What do we got here? Go talk to all these people. Hello.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Your life in London. How's the situation here?
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. They are running out of everything.
Getting killed by it or something. This feels like it. Spanish flu won't last forever.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
Oh, come on.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You'd
be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
That's alright. How's the staff coping?
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why?
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
I'm a vampire. I'll make him talk. Hell, I could probably make him squeal.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
They get a little weird. It's alright. Let's see. Let's talk to Mr. Milton here.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Ooh, really? How is the situation around here?
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
Smuggling weapons?
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I'll bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital. That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Yeah, to be honestly, I don't even...
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm fine, Doc. Physically, at least. But I would give everything to be in a better place right now.
I don't actually... Yeah, I really don't blame him for, you know, having a bleak look on life when
I'd like
you
to see
stuff
your
like
goods.
that.
Wise
I don't
choice,
know.
Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
What in the... What's that? Oh, I got an itch. Milton's shotgun. The barrel shotgun possessed by Milton was probably obtained as a payment from a soldier. Yeah, we'll check that out later. Actually, D. Guns, files. Where are my guns? I'll take that. Yeah. What the fuck here? I think he's actually inside.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, miss.
everyone.
I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Ooh.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul. Or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The garden.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Just going to keep my comments to myself.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
Oh, such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
With you at our side, Dr. Reed, I know that Pembroke will prevail and survive.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize that was...
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Oopsie. Excuse me, you're new.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Please, could you tell me something about
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I don't think he's actually even looking at me. Like, at all.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Nice, nice. Let's go to personal questions and about your blood transfusion technique.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me his story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
I like this doctor. Doctor.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Thank you, Strickland. Fog off now. Who are you? Not someone I can interact with. Ooh. Ah. Right. Oh no, that's a different guy, actually. Hello, who the hell are you?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival.
What the heck is this?
I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Look
Does
at
my
that.
arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansey's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Dabblers.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansey has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansey, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Is your rivalry blinding you?
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
Ooh, trust judgment. You will assume. I don't know him enough to trust him. You'll assume the consequences. It's a we'll get this one.
If you are going to lead this surgery, I'm trusting you to assume the consequences of your actions, whatever the result.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
Okay, personal questions. Oh, we got 2 of them.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
I don't know what...
I don't quite...
And what...
I served in...
Be careful.
I only...
This is
I just
ridiculous.
You see?
It seems you have bad memories of your military...
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. Thank you for your time.
I'm done
We'll
talking to
talk
him.
later.
I have in mind to break his head open at this point. Harvey. Let's see. This is Strickland. It's Dorothy. Harvey. Talk to Harvey.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Okay.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Ackroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
That... Tell me about yourself.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
And about the hospital.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
I forget the...
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
Wife died because of you?
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Oh. Damn.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Yeah, I understand that, man. about the death of your
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
Oh, dude.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Ellen didn't bring them with her that night.
Jesus. Sorry, mate.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Phillips. I'll see you later.
Oh, sweet girl. Reads me like a book. I'll never keep it.
That's backwards. Just take the time with me, these guys.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
I'm gonna make you talk.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
Let's
I'm sure
communicate.
you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
I need a little information.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me about
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you?
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
You're right. It wouldn't.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you... what are you doing?
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Are you that
Are
rich?
you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
Right on. Hell of a health insurance. I wonder how she got it.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Can I talk
Good
to
evening,
you?
Mr.
I'm okay.
Anything new? Ah,
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Is your mother bothering you?
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
I see. Can I
How
give anyone
painful
this?
is your throat?
So painful,
I'll let you get some rest.
I'll let you get some rest then.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Okay, there's no more I can talk to them about. Who's this? No, this one. Crane. Let's talk to her for a quick
What
second.
can I do for you?
I'm Mr. Hampton.
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
Who's Dr. Swansea?
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
I've only just met him. He knows me more than I
It's
do.
right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Where's my room?
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you.
Thank you, nurse.
Let's go search around. Ooh, what can I steal from you? Glass vials. Stealing from a hospital that desperately needs the medicine and materials. Yeah. I'm a lovely person. What is this? Prevent disease. Careless spitting, sneezing, coughing, spreading influenza, spread by droplets, spread. Do not cough in public. Let me just go outside into into town or something. Just how's everybody doing?
Thelma
Having that
Howcroft said
influence?
she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Huh. Okay.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Are you afraid? Uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
Most people fear dead flesh.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
Ooh, I like it.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Nice. Okay.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
I watched the bodies.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Oh. Personal questions. You're a pawnbroker.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade?
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Cool. You believe in life after?
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Goodwill won't last.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to die?
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Interesting point of view.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Anything of being useful in one form or another. This formula written on a piece of paper seems complex and needs to be analyzed. I have the money for it. Opium? You're selling fucking opium. Codeine. Kinda crazy, dude. My junk. Weapons and
Tomorrow, more bodies will arrive and then sadly depart. I'm managing
It's
a train
locked, all
terminal.
right.
Okay, that's Strickland again. Let's see. Fatigue. Hawkins.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Oh, come on. What's this?
Goodbye, Nurse
View?
Hawkins.
What's this view? What's this? Nope.
Good evening, Nurse
That's
Hawkins.
better.
Good
That's
evening,
better.
Dr. Reed.
Life in London. No. Personal questions. What?
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Interesting. I think this is the button for it, right? No collectibles. Quests. Continue. Find your house second floor. Citizen menu. Interesting. Local investigations. The pharmacy. Backyard garden. Find out who is spying on Thelma. Yeah, honestly, I'm actually curious, so let's go check it out. Jeez, I'm getting sick myself, man. Alright, let's go run over here. Get outside. Ooh, shit. Really? Intriguing. Okay. Ah, it's above me or something, isn't it? Or no. Here. Dear love, I finally found the missing money for the fee asked by the ambulance driver to bring you to the hospital. Don't worry about nothing now except getting better, for I took care of everything. I asked some of our neighbors and they told me that this Mr. Hooks is something of an honest crook. He may ask for extra money in exchange for a bed, but the bed is then guaranteed. I'm sorry I refused to pay first, and I realize now that the important thing is that you get better soon. The Pembroke Hospital is a good place, I heard. Despite the bad behavior of this Milton Hooks, I promise you that everything is okay now. I'll see you in your clean bed as soon as possible. With fondest love, Nikolai, something like that. Yeah. 5 shillings. Interesting. Must be on an upper floor. Well, let's go find the staircase. Boop. Nope, wait, that's a private room. Let's find what's there. Let's find our stalker. First, let me see from here. Cheap gin. Okay. Dr. Reed.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Okay, you guys can, look at this one yourself. Basically just talking about supernatural speed, mesmerize, and blood awareness as in abilities that I have. I'm definitely not reading that entire bloody thing. Go here. Blood sample of William Bishop. Analyze. Light regeneration serum. We'll keep the gem for the time being. Okay.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night.
You can
I have
feel it.
so much time now.
Yeah, but your face, dude, doesn't look good. All right, how much do we have? 814. Life regeneration. We'll get this one. Spring. Supernatural move to your target and cause damage upon landing. Your stamina to fade into the shadows and become invisible to most enemies moving in the state will drain more stamina. Attack or dodge when your stamina is empty. Blood barrier. Coagulation. Target's blood in their... You will block your target's blood in their veins, making them defenseless. Oh, what? You create an invisible barrier, absorbing direct damage until it fades or is destroyed. That sounds very useful for combat. 600. I don't have enough. Shadow Veil. Yeah, that could be useful. Especially on like stealth missions. Yeah, I keep doing that. I keep doing it. I keep doing it.
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
I don't know. Come on, I don't have all night.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
There's nothing here.
Sorry. There's nothing here.
Some of the patients won't last the night without them. Honestly, sir, I'm beside myself.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
Well, this should be interesting. Ooh, what's this? Oh, don't tell me I get to use that as a weapon. Don't tell me I get to use that as a weapon. I'll look at the medical file later. I can use it as a weapon. 99, 58. See, it's slow, but it does massive damage. Yeah, why not? And then offhand, give me that. Let's go refill on ammunition. And then we'll go do, I'll try and knock out a few missions. What was that beat, man? Now I can't actually leave that way? Really? Why? Alright, let's get out of here then. There's also a third floor. But personally, I want to check out these side quest missions. Oh. Interesting.
managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
Okay, so you are in this area spying on her. Could be here. Oh, check it out. Lead rods and lead plate. Good, I could use that. Go. Didn't quite go the way I wanted to. Guard of Pre-1 Command Post. Vampire activity, hospital, survey, investigate. 3 days ago, one of our new recruits heard a rumor about the presence of a female vampire hiding in the perimeter. All we have is her first name, Thelma. Your mission is to discreetly go there and observe any suspicious activity concerning said leech. Then report directly back to us, and we will decide what action should be taken. Did I just hear a gun being loaded? Really quickly. So I don't have any more ammo for this thing. I need to learn to make some, I guess. Find the local command post at the Guard of Pre-1. Okay. Serious. Curfew, physical health warning. Okay. The fudge? Oh, no. Yep, I can tell you right now, this mission's gonna be put on hold. No. Because, I am nowhere close to that level. Okay, it's on this side of the building. Clay. Let's talk to these people real quick, too.
Good
None
evening.
of this is important, I'll cut it.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What's the situation here?
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Personal questions. I ain't got nothing.
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets.
Boy.
There's good reason to be proud.
What? Clay, you some bitch.
Good evening, Mr. Cox.
Dr. Reed. Still working at night, I see. I like that.
And why is that?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more alive to me. More interesting, one way or another.
Does he know that I'm a vampire? Like,
do you ever think about that poor fellow I saw you push in the water?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him. Still fucking hurts. Boss had cut me good.
He almost died there. Did he want revenge?
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought it would be easy to return the favor.
Survival at all costs.
Only the strongest survive, then? Survival at all costs. Is that all you think about?
I'm the toughest bastard you'll ever meet, Dr. Reed. And I don't give a fuck what you think of me.
That man was determined to murder you. You almost died.
What a surprise. The first time I met him, he nearly shit himself. Fucking coward. I guess revenge gives you balls.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. But as long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
What's wrong with the staff?
What's wrong with the Pembroke staff?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other smart comments?
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, all like that.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
Only when there's people like you. Only when there's people like you.
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get caught.
The police may be slow, but they will find you eventually.
Well, how come you didn't turn me in then? Nah, Doc. I figure you have something to hide, so you can't ask the coppers for help.
I didn't know I could fail it.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Jesus. I've never seen so many people dying at the same time.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
Really?
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
I see. We'll leave that one for now. Tippett praises.
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Alright,
Jesus, I've never seen so many people dying at the same time.
This way. Back here.
Skal voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
Right? Yeah, if we were to find somebody, jeez. That'd be horrible. Rule 6, huh? 3, 4. Is there a way around this way? Or is it literally just going to be Slaughterfest over here? Oh. Shit. Not a good thing. Jesus.
It's locked, all right.
Yeah, no. Looks like it's time for me to go kill him. Oh, come on.
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well.
I'll say. Get there through the alleyway or over there? Ooh, wait, hold up. That's not what I thought it was. Oops. Oh, jeez. No. Not moving. This is going to be interesting. Can't see anything. Does Skal even give off like a signature to someone like me? No. Check the first floor first and then proceed from there. I'm guessing everything's on the lower level. Hello? Don't freak me out like that. I get very angry and very violent. Don't do it. Hey now. I don't know if that was just a glitch or a thing. Screw it.
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
Faster than influenza. Well, it is a vampiric virus, so... yeah, sounds about right. I hear that. I don't like that growling noise I'm hearing in the back. Ooh, shotgun shells and bullets. I'll save that for a big fight.
It's locked.
Door's locked? Really?
Balls of Mars. Fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
Iron tartrate. Hello. Phosphorus tartrates. Watery-rich blood sample? Let's just take blood from that guy. More from sodium lies. Morgue basement. Did I find said key or randomly weird location?
This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Nice. Oh shit, hi. Give me your blood.
It's locked.
Oh, I saw that. I don't like that. Digital poof. And I don't appreciate it. Oh my. Well,
These Skals feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood.
oh, hi, second, dude. Yep. Bad boy. Come here. I need your blood. Oh, that didn't take as much health from me as I thought. I should probably upgrade the bike. Yeah, upgrading the bike might not be such a bad idea once we get out of here. I see you over there. But I'm going to look for... I'm gonna try and make less noise. That would be great. Hello. Oh, dude. Excuse me. New citizen investigation is available. Press this to open the local investigation menu. Citizen investigations are displayed here. Blah blah blah. Alright. Find out the cause of death. I have read the report of Dr. Tippett's concerning the death of Samuel Connor. I am not quite convinced right now. Perhaps I should conduct my own investigation to determine the patient's real cause of death.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report.
Corner of the lips.
Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps?
Damaged legs and
multiple
arms.
abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman.
By the way, this is so freaking bright for me. I'm
The
looking at
chest
the
was
recording.
originally open to perform the operation.
Oh.
The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful.
Chest hemorrhaging?
Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then, he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked. It's locked.
I gotta be careful with it.
It's locked, all right.
Used list. Wait, what? You just acquired a new type of offhand weapon. Equipped it and press that to directly absorb blood. What? What? Okay, so I can either stun them or get blood instantly. I like it. I like it a lot. Attack speed. Cool. Dig it. Let's see what else I can find in this area. Glass vial. Rogue Skal. They do give off a trace. They do have something I can identify. Let's try it out, man. Whoa, that was quick. Close behind me. There you are. Oh, John Doe. What the fuck? What? Ah! Okay, I need the stun stick. I kind of need it. Damn it, I knew it was gonna happen. Ah! Good. Okay, I need to stun him. Nope. Ouch. Give me some more of that blood. Heal himself. Oh no! Fuck. Come on. Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
These Skals can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting. Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
Ooh. Imported blood, no formula. Sweet. Oh, I can work on my guns and stuff. Analyze. Now bring the medicine to Dorothy Crane in the patient's room. Alright, is there another way to get the frick out of here? I don't think there is. Wait, what was that? That was nothing. Let's get out of here. Blood. Excuse me. Dalty. Oop, Dorothy. Dalty. There you
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Diseases. Diseases decrease the quality, the blood quality of a citizen. Use the correct medicine to heal them. Speak to the patient in the room behind Dorothy to check his medical status. Q. Fatigue.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You're no burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful, everyone.
I have to go now, sir.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor.
I've got nothing
Goodbye,
I can say to you. Alright, now Dr. Swansea. Swansea. Oh, what? Remember, citizens' blood will provide a massive XP boost. Look for citizens of your measurement level below to choose wisely. Yeah, but maybe I don't want to. Rest to evolve. Where's my bedroom? I think my bedroom's actually all the way at the top. No, it is not. At least not this side. Where the hell is my bedroom? Ah, this way. Okay, we're gonna get some rest, refill some stuff. Alright, 5% healing. Blood capacity. Let's see. My stamina, definitely. I need my stamina. Defensive. That could be a bit more useful. And yep. You know, actually, I kind of want the blood spears because I think it'd be cool. So let's go ahead and spend. Oh, you actually have to get. Okay. I thought I could actually just like put it there and it'd be there until I'm done. Every night, the consequences of your actions may prove to improve or degrade the district health status. It can also be degraded due to diseases spreading among citizens. The more lives you take, the unhealthier a district becomes. If a district's health status drops below the critical threshold, it will plunge into chaos. It is for you to decide of a district's fate. He's good. He needs to be cured of fatigue. He's a pillar of the community. Dyson Delaney. Okay, she's a pillar of this community. Okay. And there's one other pillar in the community. Huh. Do you have enough material to make another thing of fatigue? Let's see, let's check everything. Let's see if we can't make another thing of fatigue. Yeah, we can. We can make it treatment for fatigue. Go give it to Dr. Cox. Not Dr. Cox, Mr. Clint Cox. And then go out here and should be this door. Hello, Swansea.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier.
Getting a little closer to that skull.
The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
I'm living a paradox.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
Ouch.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Alrighty. And just because I do remember this part of what is actually about to happen, I am going to call that a video. There's going to be a lot of editing. If you guys enjoyed the video, I know this is probably one of the more boring ones just because I don't do a lot of talking and there's a lot. I like to be thorough with my games. I do apologize if this is extremely boring. I have most likely lost you guys well before now. If you have stayed this long, comment down below and I'd be impressed. You know, I'd actually like to see how many of you guys actually made it all the way to the end of this video. If there's anything you guys would like to see, comment down below as usual. And if you guys are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon, because that's how YouTube works. So you guys actually get notified of when I upload. So I will see you guys in the next video.